Hey guys, this is Coach B with Coach B's Gaming, and today we're going to be talking about how you get high immunity, and also the second part will be how you get more composites. Okay, so before we get started, I would like to ask you to please subscribe, and I'm going to take just a second. I promise you're not going to be annoyed. It's just a click of a button, and it really helps me out, especially if you like the videos. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and also if you like the video, please like it. For those who don't know me, I am Tovo, state 596. Now, to get high immunity, a lot of it is just grind and working hard. So I'm not going to discount that at all. But there are a couple of things along the way that can help you speed up the process. So in season 1, it's literally just grind. It's all about watching that Doomsday season 1 video I did as far as how you set your specialty, and literally it's just hard work and going for greens as fast as possible. So for every other season, there's a little bit more to it. So I'm going to show you how I set my specialty to ensure that I get high immunity right off the bat. So it takes 47 immunity to go all the way to the right for blue right at the top. And I do not do the bottom. The bottom is healing, and even in Eden, I don't do the bottom. I always go to the top. The reason for that is it lowers the cost of increasing our virus labs, and that is crucial to getting high immunity as fast as possible. Now, if you have more than 47 immunity, you would also go to the left a little bit, at least 10, and get an extra processing. Now, this particular base is in Eden, and in Eden, you automatically get an extra processing once you get level 5 in the Doomsday package or whatever. So definitely go right for blue first. Then you can have an extra, if you're in Doomsday, have an extra processing. If you're in Eden, it's not that big of a deal. Then what you're going to do is go to green. And now remember, this is only for those with high immunity in later seasons. You're going to go green north. Okay, the reason we go green north is you can see that it gains 6% disease crop and mutated lumber. So we got basically 18% in production for immunity or for virus. So when you go over to her territories, right now she's operating at about 56%, which is not great, but it's still early in Eden. So you can see that she's got all 12s and 13s. And in 4, she's got, a couple 10s, mostly 12s. The difference between Eden and Doomsday is Eden, you don't have tiles that you can take in other states. So what you may get for production in Doomsday is literally going to be half for Eden. So, for example, in Doomsday, toward the end of the season, I'm operating no less than 200,000 greens or composites or virus an hour. And the way I do that is in our own state. The very first thing I do is I try, obviously it's a grind, go as fast as possible, and I try to get every single level 12 in the medium green. I mean, I will use every source of way I can do that, whether it's getting at people to bridge for me, whether it's using an alt in the same alliance to bridge for me, and then I go get that extra 12. So that's one of my first tips, is have an alt in the same alliance as you, so it can bridge forward to get those high greens so you don't waste all your durability. So that's definitely tip number 1. The second one is, once you've got all the 12s in the medium green, what I would do is fill up the rest on 10s and 11s, at least for the first few days, to see if your Doomsday grouping is going to be violent or if it's going to be an all-out war. You never know what's going to happen, because if that first week when you're building, if say you get into the Dark Forest and you drop all your 10s, 11s, 12s in the medium green, and you're going for all the 12s in the Dark Forest, and here comes that number 1 alliance coming into your state, now you've lost all your hard work for the week. So it's that constant grind. You can't really go back to the medium green, because all the lower level players, that's where they tend to stay, which is the medium green. So now there's not really any tiles to get. So you're in a rut for the rest of the season trying to always do this grind of keeping those tiles in the Dark Forest, and it's just too difficult to do. So what I would do, again, get all the 12s in the medium green and fill up on 10s and 11s in the medium green in your own state. After a couple of weeks, and you've increased your immunity to get to 13s and 14s. If it's a peaceful state, then that's when you start going for the higher level tiles in your own state, though. And that's when you get to 13s to 14s to 15s to 16s. Now, in the other states, stay in the medium green. Go for those 12, 10, 11, 12. Because if you think about it, every state's going to have the same mentality of you, is keeping their dark forest clean. So they're going to constantly clean those tiles however long it takes. It's going to be an all-out grind. So get those 10 to 11 to 12s in the other state in the medium green and just be happy with that. Unless you get in a really great situation where you're the #1 alliance and you could just dominate somebody and control the dark forest no matter what. That's a little bit different. Or maybe you have an alliance with some other state and they truly are working with you and it's truly safe tiles that you're never going to lose. That's also a different story. But I would dominate that medium green as much as possible in multiple different states. That way you're not completely dependent on one or two states. Just don't go to the states that you know are going to clean hardcore. Yes, as an alliance, you need to keep a few tiles in every state, obviously, for doomsday purposes. But for you specifically, as far as production goes, just go to those safe states, 10 to 12. Now, what I'm also going to show you some other tips as far as your specialty. Once you have enough greens, obviously, you're going to switch over to this side and get some composites. But what you also should do is be going towards getting your doing your honor bonus trick and getting higher specialties so you can add to more different places. Now, the other trick is going, maybe you already have this and maybe you're at a really high specialty and you can go this direction. So what if I scrap this 5 right here and I scrap this 3, which is still good because I've got another 12%. I got another 8 right here. And let's go over here. We've got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 that I can play with. So what I would actually do is I would go straight down the middle here and I would go towards land development. I would work my way to this right here. And what I would do is I would only land develop the tiles in the medium green in my own state. Because they're hidden. Nobody's really looking for a level 15 tile in the medium green. So that the chances of you keeping that tile for a longer period of time and getting more and more production is much, much higher. So to quickly recap, blue right, and Doomsday go blue left to get that extra production. Then you need to go green north for more virus samples. And then if you have leftover, say you're in the later season, you can go to land development. Now, it's not all about just greens as well. You have to get your productions going. So after season 1, or really toward the end of season 1, you need to buy between 3 to 4 $10 composite packs, because that way when you start a new season, you're going to start off between 1 to 2 million composites. And the reason that's important is it's going to allow you to level up your processing plants all the way to between 10 and 12 immediately, which is obviously great because it's going through those samples as fast as possible. So, for example, right now, if we looked at our production, we got something going for 5 hours and 7 hours, but that's all the stuff we have. So everything else, we got a little bit of composite because we got some stuff early, but we're upgrading all our virus samples right now, and we've already got and barely into week 2, we've got 10, 9, 8, and 15 for virus samples. So it's really, really, really important to get your processing up quickly. So again, we'll go blue right, get an extra processing if you're in Doomsday. Then go green north. After that, when you don't really need any more, then you would go to green right to get land development. That is the main tips for getting more or higher immunity. The #1 thing, though, is the grind. Those first few hours of Doomsday, you better be kicking tail to get to those greens because they're going to be competitive as all get out. And if you don't get them, somebody else is going to. Now, a lot of people always hear that they say, I don't have a lot of tiles, So and so is higher on immunity than me. I just can't keep them. There's normally two reasons why that happens. There's one, they didn't follow the tip that I laid out, or two, they just refuse to grind. I mean, this Doomsday and Eden are total grinds. You've got to work your butt off to get higher immunity, so don't discount that. Now, the second part of the video is getting higher composites. It's the same thing as getting higher immunity. So it's the same tip to where we go to specialty and we go to Green North and we're going to go all to the right. Okay? So in the beginning of Doomsday and Eden, we have to only get green tiles, only get farms and forests to maximize the amount of production that we're putting through. Once you've got your desired level of tile, whether it's 12 or 16 or whatever, you have to completely switch over to all rocks and oil. So you're making composites, literally all of them. Get rid of all your greens. Like if you're sitting on 12s and you're not going to go any higher than 12s, get rid of every single green that you have. Okay? Now, make sure, and then want to make sure that you go all this direction, and the same thing with land development and making sure you're doing that honor trick. What I would do with composites also, I would save those composites. That way you're doing that honor trick every single Monday. If you haven't watched my Doomsday 1 video or Doomsday 2, mainly Doomsday 1, it talks about the honor trick. So hopefully that helps. It is not complicated, guys. It's just a 3 or 4 things that you should be doing. And I promise you can get to 200,000 production easily. Just rock that middle green, show a little patience. Don't get greedy and go to that dark forest early on. Later in the game, if it's safe, by all means, go for it. But middle green. Hopefully that helps, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the video. I hope you guys have a good night.